Everyone was panicking about AI killing SEO. You were interested in exploring the different engines.
No, it was one of the reasons. Once the AI overview started rolling out, we saw what's coming and that search is going to change.
So when the buyer is an AI agent and not human, what does the product onboarding even mean?
Yeah, exactly.
This episode is made possible by SaaStaNac 2026, where SaaS meets sea and sand.
We have a guest that I met last year on the occasion, and she also met me, but she had to meet me again this year because she forgot about me. But we're gonna address that later on. I forgive her. I truly forgive her because last year's presentation was mind-blowing to everyone, and this year I'm so happy that we have her on this talk show. So
Me as well.
who am I talking about? Everyone was panicking about AI killing SEO, even though that never happened. She recognized where the SEO world is going to and decided to move on. Instead of spending a fortune on ABM tools, she built her own with her husband, and from SEO being UserPilot's #1 user acquisition channel, she migrated to LinkedIn and owned it. She doesn't chase trends, she builds systems that other marketers quietly study. She's Emilia Korczynska, a VP of Marketing at UserPilot. Welcome, Emilia, to a special edition of the Monkey Business Talk Show at SaaStaNac conference in Šibenik, where SaaS meets sea and sand, and I would say SPF.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. I have some SPF for you, by the way, guys.
Thank you.
Well, I do, actually. I'm gonna
Really?
do
You really do?
appearance, yeah.
It's very important, you know.
You need it. There you
I like the
go.
merch. Yes, I like the merch.
It's going to prevent you from burning your skin in the sun, especially though you're running so much,
Yes.
right, in the morning.
Yes.
There you
No,
go.
but I do have some, but
These are
Always
amazing.
25.
lovely.
There you go.
Awesome.
These are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then IBM prevents you from burning your budget on LinkedIn, so I thought it's kind of relevant.
That's actually really good, really good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Last
Thank
year
you.
at
Yeah.
Šibenik, there was that awful weather that, like last day when we were leaving, everything was just a bliss. Like God didn't want us here. But
Yeah.
this year, this will be much useful because we have like 30, 33 degrees out there and it's burning hot. So yeah. How are you enjoying SaaStaNac so far?
I'm loving it, as usual. It's exceeding expectations. So, yeah, I think I'll be back for as long as they want to have me.
This year, there's actually 2 parties involved. So keeping up with everything, I believe it's a bit hectic.
It is. It is very hectic and a lot more people. And I happen to know so many people on SaaStaNac already. There's constantly bumping into someone, and then 20 minutes later you realize you didn't get where you were going in the first place. Yeah.
That's a true joy of a conference like this, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's the
still,
point.
you get amazing opportunity to meet people who are in your industry, people who are pivoting their growth strategies, just like you did for the UserPilot, and the opportunity to learn from them. Because when you are in person with people, and this is something that I was talking with Chris just yesterday, there's no competition or something. Like if you could have a chance to sit down with your competitors, you would have amazing conversations about their growth strategies, your growth strategies. Obviously not telling them everything, them not telling you everything, but it would still be a great exchange. Something that you did at UserPilot is that you brought log to something like 100 posts a month.
Yeah.
I
Even
need you
more
to
at
be
some
honest.
point.
When did you stop reading them?
I stopped reading them myself very quickly because I just couldn't keep up. But we had a large content team. We had a head of SEO. We had 4 or 5 full-time content editors / managers that were in turn managing 10 to 15 freelance writers. So it was all before AI that we scaled so much. So we were investing roughly $25,000 in content per month. And we built like a programmatic SEO machine with just literally Google Sheets and Excel formulas before even ChatGPT was released to the public. So it was very, very early days. And it worked, and it got us to almost 250,000 unique monthly visitors, like 235,000 exactly. And that was in May 2024. And then it started going downhill.
Yeah. So yeah, LLMs took that informational intent like completely.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Majority of those things left to be like in the comparison stage of the customer journey and everything. But is that the reason why I decided to pivot, or was it more like just you were interested in exploring different engines?
No, it was one of the reasons. Like, obviously, once the AI overview started rolling out, we saw what's coming, and that like search is going to change, and fewer people will be using search engines in general, and they will be switching over to AI tools to like ask for anything, not just informational but transactional intent queries as well. So that was one reason. And another reason was that we wanted to go up market. So we wanted to grow not only by increasing the sheer volume of leads, but by increasing the quality and the ACV. So that was very important, because our ACV from inbound was lingering at like, say, 8-9K, right? But when we looked at the opportunity, we knew that with the quality of the product was hugely, hugely underpriced. And that if we only managed to hit these larger accounts, especially the ones that were using our a lot more expensive, but let's face it, not entirely better competitors, then we could step into gold. And we did exactly that. That was the reason why we wanted to focus more on ABM. Because with organic SEO, you can't control who visits your blog or website, right? There are only so many queries where you can slap like enterprise on top, enterprise user onboarding, right? Enterprise product analytics. But the problem is nobody searches for them. So you still get like, like Kyle Poyer today in the morning, and the session was talking about like what kind of customer you're hunting. Are you hunting mice? Are you hunting rabbits, deer, or elephants? Yeah. Then with SEO, you mostly attract mice and rabbits. And we wanted to go after deer and elephants. So that way,
it depends on how hungry you are.
Yeah, that's true.
If
and
you're
we
super
were hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to go after deer and elephants. And with ABM, we just could select which accounts we were targeting. So we could do research, and we could, because we were lucky enough to have an SDK. So our competitors are also, the users of our competitors are installing their scripts on their websites. So it's very easy to tell who's using which tool in our niche. So we did exactly that. We did the research. We saw like who's using our largest, most expensive competitor. Like what are these companies like? Segmented them into like, these deers and elephants and whatnot. And then we wanted to run campaigns to them. And then the only question remaining was, how do we reach them?
Yes,
how do we
exactly.
distribute the content to them?
But before that, this probably should have been, was a learning curve of, okay, the positioning has to change slightly a bit because the value propositions are maybe a little bit different. But you understood your competitive landscape that was already targeting. Your product, it was probably already ready for the deers and whales and however you want to call the enterprise level clients. Were you ready immediately, or were there preparation steps to understand better the market that you're targeting, prepare for the positioning, shift your storytelling, or pushing for values, a little bit different values when you moved into the account-based marketing activities?
I wouldn't say the positioning or messaging has changed so much.
It's the same pain all across the
Yeah,
market,
it's the same
right?
pain. Like, it doesn't matter if we are attracting, smaller companies inbound or larger companies through like outbound-led inbound, I would say. But we had to still like analyze what are the value props for specific personas, and then decide which of the personas we wanted to target. So I started obviously from win-loss analysis, which we were doing like every 6 months anyway. to look at like what other customers like. So what job titles, what personas are involved in the buying process, who buys, like at the largest price point, like which deals do we lose most often, so we don't necessarily target that persona or that type of a company. And unfortunately, it was very, very inconclusive.
Oh.
So in our case, because UserPilot is a platform that combines product analytics with user engagement experiences, so user onboarding, yada, yada, with in-app surveys. So with so many different tools, catering to different jobs to be done, used by different personas, it turned out we had like this nice spread where there wasn't really like a clear winner.
Yeah.
The majority was the product personas, product managers, UX designers, but they were still not like the absolute overwhelming majority. So we still had to consider product marketing managers, customer success managers, growth, even sometimes sales, like really random roles, and also the executives themselves. So we started out from building out separate campaigns for these different personas with content and messaging that was geared towards the particular job to be done of that persona and which part of our platform addresses that job to be done, so solves their problem. And that was kind of a problem in its own right, because with so many different personas, so many different campaigns, you need to have a large budget. And
you have a lot of people involved. So out of there, you've been in and out with those things. What would be like the worst advice you got from someone who said it with full confidence?
Oh, the worst advice, like start with a tool.
Oh.
Like look for an ABM tool or look for, like whatever content tool, whatever strategy you're like trying to invest in. Like a tool is not going to solve your problem.
Ever. Never.
Yeah. Right. But a lot of people think that they don't need to like do the hard thing.
Yes.
Because like strategy and putting in the work, what you mentioned, right? Like doing proper research into your positioning, your customer, your ideal customer persona, these are the fundamentals. And honestly, tools can only support your strategy, but without strategy, they're just an expensive overhead. So this is something that I wanted to avoid, and luckily my boss has this approach that no, we're not going to invest in any platforms until we have actually a proof of concept and until we have tested something. Because initially you can do a lot of manual tests, right? Until you have some basically evidence that what you're doing is actually working.
And what was the moment that you ran a test and you realized, okay, this is actually working?
Yeah.
We should be scaling this.
Yeah, it was, we started in like mid-September 2024. And that was, like almost half a year after our SEO started going down. So as soon as it did, like 2 months later, I just sat down and I started really studying ABM. Like really reading all about it, reading books, reading everything online. Also having demos and discovery calls with different solutions to like learn more about the market and understand what's out there, how are other people doing it, also talking to other teams that were doing it. And honestly, everyone was doing something else. And everyone had a different philosophy. The tools that I had demos with were very expensive.
Yeah,
very,
it's
very
quite
expensive.
known that because they're expecting you to have a very large budget,
Yeah.
your lifetime value is huge, and then they basically price based on that, which is fair.
Yeah.
So that's the landscape of the tools. And you decided, in order to test everything and be within the budget, with your husband to make a tool that would help you a lot. So
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Okay,
even.
not yet. Not even.
Yeah.
But when was the first test ran? What did you do, and what did you conclude?
Yeah, so as I was talking to most of these like mainstream ABM tools, you know, Sixth Sense, Demand-Based, Terminus.
Not telling any names.
Yeah, you can cut it out. But no, there's nothing wrong in them, and there's nothing wrong in the fact that I was, you know, like talking about it. It's not a secret.
I wanted to manipulate shots fired moment.
Okay, it's not like I think they still have a place, but they were based mostly on display advertising.
Yes.
Which then in turn shows you which companies you have reached based on reverse IP lookup mostly, and that technology isn't 100% accurate, right? So like as long as someone can match the IP of the person visiting the site with the database, like they can tell you that it was Sastanag or it was User Pilot who visited your website. But if they can't find the right IP in the database, they just can't. So it's like 30-40% match rate. So that alone with a 30 to 100K platform spend, so the subscription fees, plus another 100K in expected ad spend in the first year was, you know, like almost $250,000 investment altogether for the first year. And I just couldn't justify it without any results yet.
And on SEO before that, you were spending around 300K a year for the majority of your, you know, where the majority of your pipeline was created.
Yeah, no, we still were spending that much. So
Yes,
it wasn't
exactly.
like we cut the budget.
This would be something on top of it.
Something on top of it, yeah, exactly. So I just came up with the idea, since we're targeting only B2B, like why not run LinkedIn ads? But ironically, almost none of the tools that I was looking into were catering to LinkedIn ads. So that's where it became a problem. And I found like literally a couple of tools that were, you know, like targeting LinkedIn advertisers on LinkedIn. One again was very expensive. The other one was very cheap, but was doing like half the job that I needed it to do. So, you know, I was like doing some digging, asked them for help with some use cases and if they could develop a specific features for running ABM on LinkedIn, because they were geared more towards like just running ads on LinkedIn. So maybe agencies running LinkedIn ads, but ABM has specific requirements. Like you want to score your accounts. Right? So do account scoring, so you know which accounts are in this interested or engaged stage, so they are ready for you to reach out to them. Or you want to know what is the intent behind the engagements. So which of your ads are the accounts engaging with specifically, so you can tell they are interested. This account is interested in analytics more than in onboarding. So when they reach the interested stage and we want to reach out to them, we talk about analytics and not onboarding. And all of this data sits in your LinkedIn campaign manager, or maybe even not. It sits in the back end of LinkedIn's databases, and you can retrieve it through the API. So I started complaining about it because that tool wouldn't build these features for me. They said they're not going in that direction, yada, yada. So I started complaining about it, and my husband is an engineer, and his love language is JavaScript. So, you know, after I like kept complaining about it over and over and over, he's like, let me just look at the API documentation. He's like, this is easy. This is totally doable. I would just build it for you over the weekend.
That's amazing.
Yes,
that is so good.
I know, right?
A
lucky girl.
Lucky girl. Within your account-based marketing campaign, I'm actually right now talking to a potential company that want to recruit me as the fractional CMO, and our strategy would be account-based marketing. Okay. So I'm going to pick your brain on it.
Very cool.
I've been doing that for like 10 years ago when I was in B2B. When we were just hunting whales. We say whales because it's like 10 million plus annual revenue from a single client. In your account-based marketing activities, were you just using heavily LinkedIn ads, or were you combining them with some, you know, organic posts throughout that your crew would post from User Pilot? Or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the problem with organic posts is distribution. Yes. that, again, just like with SEO, like with organic content, if you take organic social, you don't control who sees your organic social.
Unless you go through your account-based marketing list, like add these people, then again,
Still,
you have
still
no idea how algorithm works, and is it going to show it?
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of like, shooting up and hoping you catch, whatever you're trying to catch. But like the exact strategy for this is to post organically from, your team's profiles, ideally the right personas in your company, post content for the right ICPs. So as I mentioned, at User Pilot, we're targeting product managers, we're targeting UX designers, product marketing managers, growth people. So then we had product managers talking about how they're using User Pilot in their everyday job and how it helps them with product management. And then we had product designers or UX designers talking about how they use User Pilot for UX design. And that really resonated with the target audience, but we didn't just count on the network of that individual in our company. We amplified it using thought leader ads to the right personas in the right accounts. So since we had the ABM campaign segmented by personas, we put the organic post of the product manager in our company into the campaign for product managers in our ABM program and made sure we distributed to the right companies. And that resonated like crazy. And then we did even more. We asked our customers to write posts about their experience with User Pilot. And we looked for influencers from the right personas and like micro influencers as well. And again, we entered collaborations with them. We invited them to do a free trial or test our new MCP server and write posts about their experience and the problems they see in the market from their perspective, working sometimes also as fractional people with a lot of different companies, and how they see what User Pilot has built contributes to solving these problems for that very specific persona. And that took off the most because the influencers already had the clout and the recognition in our target audience and a massive following. But the organic, impressions were just one thing. We still took the influencer posts and promoted them as thought leader ads through our campaign manager on LinkedIn. And then, we took Zen ABM's data and looked at which companies are engaging with which posts. We knew which personas in these companies were engaging with these specific, TLA campaigns. And then we would reach out, customizing the outreach message based on the content of the original post. So all of this was pre-orchestrated, and I make it sound very easy, but it wasn't that easy to build.
It takes a couple of months just to build everything around it, and then once you press the button, it goes. But you really need to prepare. You need to understand your user base. You need to heavily understand the problem, which you probably did from years of experience, and then build the content around it and the partnerships. Have you ever stepped outside of the virtual world when it comes to account-based marketing?
Yeah, we did. We dabbled a bit. I can't say we did it consistently. I wish we did it more consistently, but the company was growing and going through a lot of changes. We tried dinners. I'm a huge advocate for in-person events and connections, not necessarily sponsoring really large conferences.
Yeah, a tight group of people.
But very, very curated events. That is, I think, something we should still layer on top. And since we know which companies are engaging with our ads, we can plot them on the map and literally invite them to events where we have a whole bunch of prospects that are currently engaging with the campaigns. So
and mix them with the already very happy users from the
exactly.
vertical.
Yeah,
I worked
totally
like a charm for me. I mean, it's a human thing. They would ask people in the room about the experience, about the problems they're having, how they're solving. So you're bringing a real true value outside of User Pilot and the tools that you are advocating for.
I wanted actually to take a step
Yes.
back because you guys went way ahead
Sorry.
in the behavior, and it's all fine. But the reason why I want to take the step back is that there are still a lot of SaaS companies today that are still heavily investing in the SEO and are not trying to pivot out from those things. That brings us to the part where you went from net fishing to spear fishing to a certain extent.
Well, we still do net fishing. We didn't
Yeah.
like kill our SEO motion, but
Yeah, that brings us to the hot take. Hot take.
Hot take.
SaaS companies that demoted SEO are making the biggest mistake ever. In the AI era, ranking actually proves authority because the junk can't rank anymore. SEO as the #1 user acquisition channel should still be the primary target because everything else is just attention you should be earning. Renting the attention you should be earning. What do you think about it?
I partially agree. Partially agree. I do believe that AIO or GEO, or however we call it, optimizing for generative search and like AI tools, super important, absolutely critical. But SEO is only just one part of it. It is the backbone and it is the foundation and a very important part of it. But it's not the only one as it used to be. So it used to be fairly easy to game, the SERPs. So you would appear in the first 10 positions or, the first 3 positions ideally. Now, it's not only about your own content, it's also about the context where you get mentioned on in other content, but also on other channels. So what is super important for AIO is also YouTube. It's Reddit, it's
LinkedIn.
Quora, it's LinkedIn. Yeah, exactly. AI overviews, and this is shocking to me, but this is super interesting. AI overviews on Google are also mentioning LinkedIn ads.
Yes.
LinkedIn ads.
Yeah, I
We
saw
saw,
that.
which was amazing, and I was very happy about it. We saw an ad against our competitor mentioned with an image of the ad, which was absurd. It was like a caricature, satirical piece mentioned in the context of our competitor's pricing.
Maybe it was a blip. Maybe they're gonna fix it now.
Maybe, but I've seen LinkedIn ads appearing in AI overviews a couple of times. So that plus mentions and other reputable sources, G2, yeah, it's a lot, and it's kind of becoming more multimodal. So you can't care only about the written content on your blog and link building as you used to. Link building, by the way, now, and even unlinked mentions have become even more important than they were for SEO, but you also need to now care about other channels where your brand is going to be visible and which are going to give you authority. So especially YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn, I would say, yeah. That's
Makes
the hot
sense.
take.
You were heavy in the content production pre-AI and everything. How the content production changed now? Because SEO is still something you are investing in.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't go without it because it has huge part with the product, with the authority, with everything, how it goes. How did your content production evolved? What types of the posts are you producing right now?
Yeah, so it's really, really changed. It's really evolved from these very SEO-y, super keyword optimized blog posts that you would recognize a mile away as being like written for SEO, which is like, what is user onboarding? Why is user onboarding important? 5 benefits of user onboarding. How to do user
5
onboarding.
common mistakes.
5 common mistakes and best tools for user onboarding. #1, user pilot.
Yes.
Like we know this kind of content, and every single tool, every single SaaS company wrote exactly the same content. They were almost identical. The only thing that changed was the #1 on the tools list. Right?
I was honestly thinking about the content writers working in SEOs. I'm like, oh my God, I'll get
Painful.
bored. After
So
like
boring. Yeah,
2
so sad.
months.
I was in this
I know.
position
But
myself.
today,
Yeah, but today we write content that is actually helpful for the users, and that is opinionated, and we are doing our best to include like points of view from different experts, stakeholders, our own points of view. So we always try to bring added value to the content piece rather than just regurgitating what's already out there in the SERPs. So for instance, today I'm listening to the talks. Yesterday there were some brilliant talks by Nathan Latka, right? Chris Cunningham. Today, Kyle Polyer, Nick Velikowski, or who was speaking first? Wes Bush today.
Wes Bush,
like, yeah,
yes.
exactly. Like we work very closely with Wes, obviously, because he's a huge advocate for product-led growth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to feed all my notes, the images that I took, the photos I took of the presentations, into our Claude agent. So we built out a Claude skill. Like these agents also evolved like dramatically over the course of last year. But the last iteration we're using is a Claude skill that has a context, which includes like our earlier posts, our information about our product and our new upcoming AI functionality. It includes interviews with internal stakeholders, and it includes additional context that we feed to it, like, for instance, my notes from the conferences. And what it does, it ingests all this information. It does research still into what's out there in the SERP. It ingests, keywords and AI entities from Surfer SEO, which is a tool that we have been using for years and years and years. But it also asks us, like, what is your point of view, and how has the space changed since you last wrote about it? So say we have a post about what is product-led growth, right? And we wrote it 2 years ago. Like, what has changed in product-led growth as a result of all the developments in AI? And a lot has changed, right? AI agents are now users of software.
Yes.
Software has to adapt to this shift, where currently it has dual users, so both human user and agentic user, which behave completely differently. So product analytics has changed completely because you don't measure agentic engagement by measuring clicks. Like agents use API, they don't use your interface. Your interface stops being as important as it was, but you can't like throw it out because you still have the majority of users are still human users. So in fact, you need to build for 2 users. And it asks you this, and you kind of dump this stream of consciousness. We actually even use voice notes with Whisperflow. Dump it in there. We share, I don't know, like recent LinkedIn posts that we read about it, screenshots, whatever. And it takes all this information. It goes away literally for like sometimes 20, 30 minutes, and it comes back with a draft. It asks us if we like the draft, if we accept it, if we do accept it, or we may have some comments on it. Like it goes away again, uses a ton of credits, like goes up to 90% of our, 4-hour limit on Claude. And it comes back with a first draft in HTML that is almost ready to basically push into WordPress. But it still uses another skill to generate custom images and infographics. It's not like AI slop images, of, I don't know, a giraffe on the beach, right, for whatever, product-led growth, that would be random. But these are custom infographics based on the content it generated. So it literally creates its own content and then its own briefs for the infographics. And then when we accept the briefs, it generates the infographics in PNG that are ready to insert into this specific paragraph to illustrate the content of this paragraph, but in this like super digestible graphic way. So this is how we produce content currently. And then once this is done, it still goes to a human editor that spends roughly an hour, hour and a half, like reviewing it and making sure that everything is fine, that the tool didn't hallucinate or make something up.
Because it does.
Because it's sometimes less and less. Like
really,
yeah,
I have
really
an opposite
really?
experience.
Okay.
Maybe I need to rethink the data sets and the skill set.
What are you
or
using?
something.
Are you using Claude?
I'm using Claude,
Okay.
yeah. And I moved away from ChatGPT because it was just
No.
that is not right.
ChatGPT didn't work for us.
Sorry, sorry, OpenAI.
Yeah, so it does all this and puts internal links, it puts external links, it finds studies, it finds data to back up its claims, but sometimes you still feel like the claims aren't really, it loses its argument sometimes. So like the reasoning skills
Yes, they're
I
not
always
there
go
yet.
back to that. Is this mushroom poison? No, it's not. And he eats it. And then this mushroom is poisonous.
you're absolutely right.
absolutely right. Do you want to know more about poisonous mushrooms?
I'm so sorry.
It always kind of comes down to
No,
that.
it doesn't care about consequences. So I spent the whole first week like testing this skill and improving on it every day based on feedback from all the writers and editors that were using it and testing it. And one thing I noticed once we fed the interviews with our internal stakeholders and knew who is the author of the post, it still didn't connect the dots that if the author is Emilia Korczynska and there was an interview with Emilia Korczynska, it's exactly the same person. So it shouldn't quote me in third person.
Oh yeah,
think,
that's the problem.
I
The
sometimes
memory
think
layer and the cognition.
Yeah, I sometimes
sorry.
think it takes like full time just to tune it. Like
Oh, yeah.
full-time job just to keep tuning the skills and everything and making sure it works. And that's kind of where I see that's the blocker still, the blocker that will probably surpass in like less than a year. But
I'm not really
I
sure.
don't think so. I totally
tuning it,
lie.
I think like 2 years ago it was basically unusable for majority of things. Last year it was usable. Now it's really good if you know how to tune it. Next year I don't think there will be much more tuning required.
I doubt it.
I doubt it
I
too.
honestly doubt it because
Yeah.
what it's missing is, first of all, it can't think about thinking. Second of all, it's cognition. So connecting those dots that are from different sources of information, because they're constantly connected to the World Wide Web, and that's actually confusing. It's pre-arranged to feed from the World Wide Web first, and then everything else potentially. So it's very hard for Claude, like it is right now, even Claude skills, to be adjusted to your specific knowledge, organizational
100%.
knowledge. Even if you upload a ton of documents, it will still wander around and not make
because it's
the connections.
prediction model. It's not. It doesn't possess the knowledge.
Well, it does have some, like reasoning skills, but the problem is that we don't have all the knowledge documented.
Yeah.
We never will, and it's
plus
just
we have
impossible.
some false information out there that is
Outdated
still going
information.
into the source.
Yeah.
This was my intro to the future of the signal.
Yes. Sorry. Now let's move to the signal. So when the buyer is an AI agent and not human, what does the product onboarding even means now? What have you seen?
Yeah, exactly. So when the user was a human, it was about like helping them navigate through the UI towards achieving their desired outcome. So the goal. So whatever the goal of the user was, in our case, it could be like, I don't know, installing their product analytics so they could see what their users are doing. We had to get them on the shortest path to that value. And now, like the users still want to achieve a certain value, but they're using AI agents as a proxy to achieve it. AI agents don't use interfaces, they use APIs and MCP service to basically get the required access and information to execute the job to be done and to achieve the desired outcome. So we need to provide like the right API endpoints and structure the data in the MCP service for the agents to again be able to get to the desired outcome in the shortest time. And this really sounds like, oh, it's not a lot of work because we just need to build the API and that's it. But we need to really think about like what endpoints we need to expose in the API. How are the agents using either the API or the MCP server? The MCP is like less structured, so there can be more data in there. But again, like how do we translate all this tacit knowledge that users had about the task, about the job to be done, and about the desired outcome? What does it even mean, a desired outcome? What is a positive outcome of the agent activity? And how do we translate that into structured context that goes into the MCP that the agents can achieve this desired outcome?
That's the most important question, because out of the successful rate of the job done by the agent, the user would say, probably, oh, user pilot is not good, or user pilot is great, potentially, because the agent acts as a proxy, and the user is the one evaluating the result of the task. So it's very important to have the right structure in place for the agents to do the job in order to achieve the specific goal. Where are you right now? What can you see with your clients or within User Pilot platform? What's the split between the agent using the for example, platform or the product and the humans interacting?
It's like 100% to 0 split right now.
Okay. I asked you that question again.
Yeah, we haven't launched our
What about clients?
MCP server yet. We are literally like days away from launching it. Our prospects and customers are asking about our plans for AI and AI features, but it feels aspirational right now. Honestly, maybe our space is a little bit more conservative, that product managers and UX designers haven't like actually jumped on the bandwagon as much as GTM people. Because they probably, to an extent, didn't have to. Yeah, there wasn't as much pressure. I mean, for engineering, for sure, engineering has adopted AI tremendously, and that has increased the pace of engineering velocity. Like everyone's launching features all the time, every day, right? But for product, like there are certain fundamentals like product discovery, right? And yes, product managers are using LLMs to analyze, for instance, user interviews and gain more insights from the product data, but it hasn't been like a mission critical feature for us yet. And we're actually quite happy that we took a longer time to work on the AI features, because the technology was very nascent, you know, like just a year ago. It just wasn't good enough. So we were kind of holding back from releasing something half-baked that, as you said, right, like wouldn't have actually brought about helpful results. So now we feel the technology is actually out there, and our AI agent can build, you know, product dashboards based on a single query. So you can ask it, okay, so in the enterprise user segment, what is my time to activation? And it will know how you defined your activation event. For instance, they installed a certain script, and it will just bring you, you know, like a chart and the data on this particular user segment, or compare several user segments, and even explain to you why there are differences between them. So now it's capable of this, but literally, you know, a year ago it wasn't.
Yeah, and people and companies experimenting a year ago with AI, there was this misunderstanding of AI at like a year or 2 years ago, where you could just slam AI on top of everything and build in a little chat bot and keep the way of the things were working as they were. It feels like AI was just a fairy dust on top of it, where now we understand, and the capabilities of AI are better, and then we can embed it better in the workflows and understand, you know, what is it that the values that users can have from it. So I think it was a good decision to sit on it a little bit. You good position, because you were not pressured by the user base.
Yeah. Exactly.
Heavy talks. I have 10 questions for rapid fire.
Rapid fire questions, okay.
The rules are quite simple. There's only 10 questions. You can pick this or that. You cannot say both or none.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Ready?
I'm a very indecisive person.
Ready?
All right. Yeah.
To give it a
ready.
shot? All right. SEO or ABM?
ABM.
LinkedIn or Reddit?
LinkedIn.
More leads or bigger deals?
Bigger deals.
AI search, threat or opportunity?
Opportunity.
Inbound or outbound?
Inbound.
Morning person or night owl?
Oh, 100% night owl.
Deep focus day or back-to-back meetings?
Deep focus.
Google or ChatGPT?
ChatGPT.
Human buyer or AI agent?
Human buyer.
Blog post or LinkedIn post?
LinkedIn post.
Scrappy and fast or polished and slow?
Polished and slow.
All right.
Nice. Okay. Now we have a next segment where I read a little statement and you just flag it overrated or underrated.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's go. LinkedIn ads.
Underrated.
Programmatic SEO.
Underrated.
Building your own tool stack.
Underrated.
CAC as a North Star metric.
Which one?
CAC. Mm-hmm.
Overrated.
Helpful content as a ranking strategy.
Underrated.
Intense signals from LinkedIn engagement.
Underrated.
The advice to niche down your ICP.
Overrated.
Case studies as a content.
Oh God, underrated.
Use cases.
Use cases.
Same as content.
Same as content. Okay. Underrated.
User,
Everything's underrated.
a user pilot or Zen ABM.
Oh wow. Okay. Underrated.
I think this is like this.
Yeah.
This wandered in from the above.
No, I put it intentionally there. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And
And the last one.
one.
Last one.
Sastanac 2026.
Ooh, underrated.
All
As usual.
Perfect. Thank
I
you
just
so
got
much.
stuck.
Thank you very much, Emilia.
That was it. Emilia, everybody. Woohoo! Now picture talk.